Hello students, our today's topic is Operating System Unit 5 File System NEP syllabus. So let us see what do you exactly mean by file system. The file system in an operating system is a way of organizing and storing the file on storage devices like hard drives, SSDs, USB drives, etc. It defines how the data is stored, how the data is accessed, named and organized. Let us see some key functions of a file system. So the first function that we are going to discuss is storage management. So what exactly is the storage management? It controls how the data is stored on physical storage media. Next is file naming and organization. It allows users to name their files and organize them into directories or folders. Next is access control and security. So it manages the permissions for reading, writing and executing the files. The next function which we are going to see is space management. So in this, actually the operating system keeps track of free and used space. Next is data integrity and recovery. So it protects the data from corruption and it also helps in recovering it after the crashes. So let us see the types of file systems. So here you can see this is in a tabular format. I have given some file systems and where exactly in which type of operating system it is used. So FAT32 file system is used in Windows and USBs. NTFS is used in Windows, ext3 and ext4 used in Linux, HFS plus APFS used in Mac OS and exFAT used in Windows and Mac OS. Now the typical structure of the file includes the root directory, or we can say that from where the actual storage, the highest level from where the files get stored or where the folders get created is known as root directory. So in Linux it is denoted by / and in Windows it is denoted by / along with the drive which is C drive. Root directory is the top level directory or the first entry point from where the actual storing of the files start. In Linux, root directory is denoted by the / and in Windows it is denoted by / along with the C drive, whichever drive it is. So I have taken an example of C drive here. Under these root directories, we have some subdirectories also known as the folders, and we can also have the files directly under root directory. Every folder again might have few more subdirectories or few more folders under it, and again under that some files. Now when we say files, what kind of files? Files can be some document files or it can be the program files. Along with the subdirectories, folders, files, it also stores the metadata. Now what do you exactly mean by the metadata? Metadata is nothing but the information about each file. The information includes the size of the file, type of the file, the permissions granted on those files, creation or the modification date of that file. Next point that we are going to discuss is the file attribute. Now all this metadata actually is known as the file attributes. And what is the purpose of this attribute? The operating system uses these attributes to manage and control the file behavior. Let us see an example of file system. So you see here there is a root directory. Under the root directory we can have many more directories, and under the directory we can have the files or no files at all, or we can have under one directory we can have few more subdirectories. Under the subdirectories we can have the file system and so on. Let us see the different attributes, or let us discuss the different attributes of the file. So the first attribute that we are going to discuss is the name. So this name attribute is nothing but the name given to the file by the user. For example, report.txt. Then next is the type. Type attribute indicates the kind of the file. For example, whether it is a text file or whether it is JPG file or whether it is exe file. Then comes the location. Location tells us the physical location or the logical location on the disk of that particular file. Then is the size, file size in bytes. Time and date, so it's the creation or the last access or the last modified date and time stamp. Next comes permissions. So permissions include who can read, write or execute the file. Next comes owner or user ID. So it tells us the user who owns the file. Next is hidden attribute. So it tells us whether the file is hidden from the normal view. The next attribute is system file. So it is used by the operating system and not for the user modifications. Next is archive. It marks if the file has changed during in backups. Read only attribute. It tells whether the file can be read but not modified. Executable, file can be run as program or script. Let us see some different file operations. The operating system provides the set of basic file operation to work with files. Now these operations allow the user and the programs to create, access, modify and manage the files. The first operation is the create operation. This makes a new file in the file system. Open operation opens the file for reading, writing or for both reading and writing. Read operation is used to read the data or extract the data from the file. Write operation is used to add or modify the data in the file. Close operation is used to close the file, or we can say finish file operations, releasing the resources. Delete operation removes the file from the system. Rename operation changes the name of the file. Copy operation duplicates the file into another location. The files are categorized based on their content and how they are used. So category of the file can be by content. For example, text files. So what do you mean by the text file? So these files are human readable and it contains the plain text. Examples are .txt, .csv. The other type is binary files. So these are the machine readable files and it contains the data in binary. For example, our .exe file, .jpg file, .mp3 file. The next category of the file is by function. So the examples are executable files. So this can be run by the operating system or by the interpreter, and the examples are the files with the extension .exe, .bin, .sh. Then next is the document files. So these store the text and formatted content. Examples are docx, .pdf, .txt. Then comes the media file. So these are nothing but audio, video and image file. Examples are .mp3, .mp4, .jpg. Next comes compressed files. So this stores the multiple files in compact form. Examples are .zip, .rar, .tar. Then next is the system files. These are used by the operating system or system software. Examples are .dll, .sys, .ini. Next comes database files. So these are the structured data used in application. Examples are .db, .sql, .mdb. Create a file. Definitely we want to access those files. So when we access the files, there are different ways to access the file. We are going to learn two major access methods. First one is sequential access and the next one is direct access. So let us see what do you mean by the sequential access. Now in this sequential access, the information in the file is processed in order. That means one record after the other. Or in other words, I can say that data is accessed in linear format or in sequential order. So here is an example you can see in this diagram. There is the first record. After first record we access the second, after second a third, after third fourth. Directly from first I cannot go to the fifth record. It is impossible to go directly to the fifth record. So even if I have to go to the fifth record, I have to cross record number 2, record number 3, record number 4 and then I reach record number 5. So I have to go in a sequence, in a linear format. So this is an example of sequential access. If I have to give you the real life example, I can give the example of music player. So when we play the music player, Actually, all the songs are played in order, one after the other. Even if you want to listen to the song, like fourth song directly, you have to fast forward the song. Let us discuss direct access, also known as the random access. Now, in this, data can be accessed from any location within the file. And this access method is also called as a real-time access, where records can be read irrespective of their sequence. So here is a diagram. So you see, this is record number 1, and directly I am going to record number 2. I need not go to record number 3 and 7 here. See, physically they are anywhere, they are not in sequence at all. Record number 1 is here, record number 2 is here, then record number 3 is here. So from one place to other place, you can actually jump from any location to any location in your memory. So one example is your random access memory, or your disk, magnetic disk is an example of a random access. If I have to give the real life example of a random access, so you see there is a bookshelf, and from this bookshelf, suppose I decide to read this book, Pink is not only for the girls. Do I need to go through all the books from the sequence, like do I need to go through all the books, calm down and go in sequence and then pick the book? No. Directly I can go to this book, pick this book and take it out for reading, right? So this is one example of random access. Thank you.